The national debt will soon breach $30 trillion. As a result, the government must borrow roughly 50 cents of every dollar it spends this year and next.
The American people expect us to do something. They expect us to deliver, and it's my hope that these continued conversations, really over these next few days, will be productive and will lead to that clear direction.
So there seems to be a disagreement between what President Biden and agreed to with Republican senators and what his staff is now saying.
In this video, I'll be discussing how much money the federal government will pay you each month, thanks to President Biden's American Rescue Plan. I will also be going over how some state governors want to allow people to keep receiving unemployment benefits while working part-time. This is your fourth stimulus check update and news report. So the US Labor Department reported Thursday that initial jobless claims fell below 400,000 for the first time since the early days of the crisis. First-time filings for unemployment benefits totaled 385,000 for the week ending May 29th, and that's a decline from the previous week's 405,000. Now, the last time claims were this low was the week of March 14th, 2020, with 256,000. The number spiked to nearly 3 million from the following week and peaked at more than 6.1 million in early April, as governments across the United States shut down businesses. However, this doesn't mean the economy has returned to normal. Despite the decline in weekly claims, continuing claims rose by 169,000 to 3.7 million. In fact, folks, more than 15.4 million Americans are still receiving benefits under the various programs, including two put in place specifically to address crisis-related displacements. The claims numbers are expected to continue the decline as more workers return to their jobs and as states curtail benefits. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer just announced a plan to allow people to work part-time and continue receiving unemployment benefits simultaneously. The Michigan Economic Jumpstart Plan will be made possible with leftover federal funding from the American Rescue Plan in Michigan's budget, which allocated millions of dollars in funding to states in an effort to help Americans recover from the devastation of the crisis. During a Thursday press conference, Whitmer said that Michiganders working full-time would not be eligible to continue receiving unemployment benefits. Governor Whitmer said, "We want to make sure we are giving people all of the incentives to get back to work so that they can take care of themselves and their families and not forego other opportunities that can help them get back on their feet." What are your thoughts on Governor Whitmer's plan, everybody? And should the unemployment benefits continue? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Whitmer also announced the Michigan Bigger Paycheck Plan, which would give $300 million in grants to employers in an effort to incentivize raising wages to $15 per hour for at least 3 months. And finally, the Michigan governor would also allocate the $370 million to expand access to childcare for 15,000 low and middle income families. The Michigan Main Street Initiative would give another $300 million to small businesses, including $100 million for restaurants to help cover mortgage or rent and operational costs, and $125 million for small businesses that missed out on other incentives. And also, everybody, the child tax credit is about to change, and for most parents and guardians, that will soon mean monthly checks from the federal government. The Treasury Department and the IRS recently announced the official July start date for the updated credit, as laid out in the American Rescue Plan. But some of you have said that you guys are still unsure of how much you'll receive. Well, the recent $1.9 trillion stimulus relief package aims to give parents a little more support, and the credit will now be worth as much as $3,600 for the year, and money that was once claimed only at tax time will be issued in installments, at least in 2021. For parents of children up to the age of 5, the IRS will pay a total of $3,600, half as 6 monthly payments and half as a 2021 tax credit. That changes $3,000 total for each child, ages 6 through 17. The IRS will make a one-time payment of $500 for dependents age 18. And payments will be based on the AGI, reflected on a parent's 2020 tax filing. And the amount phases out at a rate of $50 for every $1,000 of annual income, beyond $75,000 for individuals, and beyond $150,000 for married couples. The benefit will be fully refundable, meaning it will not depend on the recipient's current tax burden. Qualifying families will receive the full amount, regardless of how much or little they owe in taxes. There is also no limit to the number of dependents that can be claimed. So that is all the news in this video, everybody. If you folks found this video useful and helpful, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. Until next time, folks, have a great day and stay safe.
All right, I have a couple of items for all of you at the top, and some charts. We love charts in here. In today's encouraging report, initial claims for unemployment insurance fell to their lowest level and below 400,000 for the first time since the pandemic hit. This is just the latest evidence that President Biden's economic strategy and vaccination plan are working. While weekly data can be volatile, since taking office, average claims have fallen by about 50%, which you can see in this chart over the course of time, and by more than 100,000 in the last month alone. And earlier this week, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, as it's commonly known, one of the leading bodies in analyzing economic growth around the world, increased their projection for U.S. economic growth this year to 6.9%, due to the strength of the American Rescue Plan and our pandemic response to get Americans vaccinated and lift our economy out of the crises that we inherited. In fact, the United States is the only major industrialized nation to have its growth projection through 2025 revised upward. We also learned earlier this week that manufacturing activity in May was near its highest level in more than 15 years. Okay, I also wanted to note, which many of you saw this morning, that our Deputy National Security Advisor for Cyber, Ann Neuberger, who's been here a couple of times, released an open memo to corporate executives and business leaders, urging them to take immediate steps to address the threat of ransomware. Obviously, this is in light of the attack this week, the ransomware attack this week, and the one from just a few weeks ago. The federal government, under the leadership of President Biden, has been stepping up to strengthen the nation's defenses against cyber attacks, but we can't do it alone. Business leaders have a responsibility to strengthen their cyber defenses to protect the American public and our economy. The most important takeaway from the recent spate of ransomware attacks on the United States, Ireland, and Germany, and other organizations around the world, is that companies that view ransomware as a threat to their core business operations, rather than a simple risk of data theft, will react and recover more effectively. So our Deputy National Security Advisor laid out a small number of highly impactful steps that private sector companies can take to harden their cybersecurity. We've outlined them here, and again, it was in the memo that she put out just this morning, and that's something we will continue to encourage companies to do. Finally, lots of news out there this morning. As you all know, and many of you were probably on this call, Jeff Zients and Jake Sullivan announced the president's strategy for global vaccine sharing and their allocation plan for the first 25 million doses to be shared globally. So